Hello. Have you ever heard of this saying, we are what we repeatedly do? Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. Or, those that know, do, and those that understand, teach. Or maybe, all men by nature desire knowledge. Have you ever wondered where these quotes came from? Well, if you didn't know, they're from a Greek philosopher named Aristotle. Many people have heard of Aristotle, but when asked what did he do or what is he known for, not everyone has an answer for that. Today I'm going to tell you about Aristotle. I'm going to tell you about his life, his profession, and one of his works that is still relevant today. Aristotle was born in 384 BC. His father was a doctor that served the Macedonian rule. His mother was from a wealthy family that owned estates in Greece. His parents died when he was young, and he was sent to live with his brother-in-law. At the age of 17, he moved to Athens to study in the academy. The academy was a school of philosophy and was taught by Plato. He remained a member of the academy for 20 years. After Plato's death, he did not take over the academy. According to Edith Hall, in The Making of the Mind, Aristotle was not appointed the head of the academy, perhaps because of his Macedonian connections, as well as his disagreements with central Platonic doctrines. Sometime after leaving Athens, he married and he had a daughter named Pythias. He then tutored King Philip II's son, Alexander, whom we know as Alexander the Great. He tutored Alexander for 7 years. He then returned to Athens and opened up his own school called Lyceum. Eventually, he had a son with a lady named Herphilus, and they named their son Nicomachus. In 323 BC, they moved to his mother's family's estates in fear of his life. He was in fear of his life because after the death of Alexander, the Athenians had turned against everyone that had Macedonian connections. In 322 BC, he died. It is rumored that he was murdered and that he had committed suicide, but most people believe that he died of a disease of the digestive organs. Now that you have some background information on Aristotle's life, I'm going to tell you about his profession. Aristotle was a philosopher. What is a philosopher, you might be asking yourself? A philosopher is someone who studies philosophy. Okay, so what's philosophy? Philosophy is the love and the pursuit of wisdom. When you research Aristotle, you can find out that he definitely loved and pursued knowledge. He was interested in a variety of topics, ranging from language, mechanics, zoology, and everything in between. Although there are many topics that Aristotle studied and made contributions to, I am going to tell you about one that is relevant to the class we're taking now. Since we will soon be doing a persuasion speech, I thought that Aristotle's work called Rhetoric would be the most relevant. According to Amelia Rorty and Aristotle on the Virtues of Rhetoric, rhetoric is a guide, a technical handbook. This guide gives advice to people who write tragedy, politicians, orators, and many other people. Amelia Rorty also stated that Aristotle characterizes rhetoric as the art of finding the most available means of persuasion. It involves a practical understanding of ethics, doing the right thing at the right time, the right way, and for the right reason. According to Bernard Dan in Medical Rhetoric and Rhetoric Medicine, Aristotle's rhetoric presented persuasion as a form of demonstration that can be achieved by 3 different modes. The first mode is ethos, stems from the speaker's personal credibility. Credibility is important because it gives the listeners a reason to trust you. The second means of persuasion is called pathos. This calls on the emotional effect of the hearer. This is important because you can persuade someone to do something or not to do something based on how they feel about the situation. The third mode of persuasion is called logos. Logos provides an argument that proves a truth or an apparent truth. Providing arguments that prove a truth or an apparent truth is important because, according to Alexo Arbonitis and Atanas Karapantos, in negotiation in Aristotle's rhetoric, truth over interest. That which is true and better is naturally easier to prove and more likely to persuade. Hopefully, this will help us with our persuasion speeches in the future. I would like to, now you know about Aristotle's life, his profession, and why rhetoric is important today. I would now like to end my speech with a quote attributed to Aristotle. Speeches are like babies, easy to conceive but hard to deliver. Thanks for watching.